Hi all, it's Sphere System here. Going to be making a video this week on finding queues in TBMC. Yeah, it's a brief rundown and not an exhaustive guide, of course. An exhaustive guide would be difficult to achieve and certainly difficult for a single week's turnaround in a video, but especially given that we have other responsibilities, unfortunately. Well, I mean, they pay to keep us here, so not terrible, but unfortunate to some degree. Anyway, that being said, do please take salt care with this. It can be exhausting work. It might bring up fear and the like, and it may also bring up embedded anti-escape cues. Some or all of what we mentioned here might be connected to stuff like that, might not be. That's going to vary based on the system, but it's something to be aware of. Yes. Okay. That being said, a good starting point is simple cue recognition. So obviously, one of the easiest a good foundational point is noticing when you've been cued and recognizing cues. It's not the be all and end all, but it's certainly a decent starting point for cue finding. So probably a good place to start. Yeah. Okay. So cues can be recognized. This isn't 100% of the time going to work, but a general rule of thumb, if there's a sudden shift in how basically in how you're doing in some way or another, whether that be thought patterns, behavior, even physical things like, for example, pain or things like that, or of course symptoms from other things going on might suddenly increase or decrease noticeably. Then and there's not a other reasonable cause for them, because obviously, it's not surprising. For example, if you injure yourself, you're going to see an increase in pain, right? So you've got a reasonable cause there for that increase, or if someone has been deliberately aggravating you, it's reasonable to expect an increase in more aggravated feelings, and potentially even a switch in who's fronting, or at least in Kokon. And from there, of course, a change in thought pattern and behaviour to some degree, given, you've got new people around. Well, not new people, but effectively you've got other people taking a more active role in life at that point in time, and so you're going to see a shift there, and you've got reasonable cause, But if that's not occurring or is occurring disproportionately, it might well be that there's been a queue. Yeah, and of course, it's worth knowing that queues are not locked to being in English, nor are they locked to being verbal or purely verbal. Alright, queues can be combined, can be combinations of verbal along with, for example, a particular tone or cadence to one's voice. They can also be non-verbal in terms of things like a particular light strobing or specific body language might see a cue occur, for example. So, yeah, that's worth knowing at least, and taking some care over. Yeah. So, those are the important things there. Let's see. Okay. So, a good place to start is a slow and deliberate work through of potential cues, starting with, of course, just thinking about that particular cue, see if that does anything, and then moving through, various other forms, be that, written out, it being typed out specifically, it being spoken aloud in various forms, although that last one, obviously you can test whether or not you speaking it aloud does something, but you may, if you want to test if somebody else speaking it does something, unless you're, if you're out to a degree, obviously you then need to find somebody safe to do those tests with, because you're potentially going to end up queued in front of somebody, and obviously you need to do a significant level of explanation potentially on what's occurring to even get somebody involved in the first place. So, likely to see you're going to want safe people there for that, which might be difficult to find, certainly to the degree necessary. But yeah, going to be what's desired there for that. So yes, and that will help test things if you do have somebody safe there. Often good starting points are going to be obviously various command phrases and the like. Additionally, terms of affection, things of that nature are reasonable odds chances. So those are decent enough. Those are good calls in terms of likely cues. So are generally good choices for options in terms of testing. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, you're going to be looking for phrases that a lot of the time these aren't going to be phrases that are um completely abnormal to that certainly the any cues that would be public facing at all are going to be ones that would not be strange for people to hear in public. Um, you know, um, they might be unlikely to be heard accidentally in public, but they're not going to be ones that would throw someone off from hearing it in public. So there'll be a balance struck there between likelihood and how normal it would be to hear in public. Um, yeah. So that's going to be a key factor there. Yes. Okay. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. Um, there's obviously specific intonation of body language that may well go along, which is going to make things harder to find, but is not a guarantee that that even is the case. And where it is the case is not necessarily going to be particularly difficult to spot either. They're not going to want things that are too abnormal um, in terms of being able to find or too difficult to pull off because you know want to be killing people as and when desired without too much difficulty. There, yeah. So unlikely to see too much in terms of difficulty of the pull off of those. You know, although and the ones that are going to be more difficult to find are likely to be the ones that are more undesirable for accidental procking, effectively. Um, you know, um, yes, okay. The other option that we're going to be discussing in this video is memory hunting, where you know um, this is going to need good memory access to work effectively, but going through memories and looking through the um, through them for instances of where a cue has been used and looking at the moments beforehand, you know, might provide insight into what various cues are. Yeah, because the obviously now this I mean along with the previous method might run into issues regarding cues that are deliberately obfuscated by use of time delay options to make it harder to spot effectively, in that the queue will not occur immediately. The behavior queue will not occur immediately. There will be a timer set, and obviously, where that's the case, it can be harder to pin down what the queue is, and may even lead to a misdiagnosis effectively of what is a queue. So do need to be careful there. You know, if it's a that's mostly going to require looking out for that is mostly going to require discussing with the people who are queued, talking with them, finding out, trying to establish a link there from their memory, whether or not it is actually that action that causes it, or whether it's someone internal causing that to occur, and then following the lead that way, effectively discussing with everyone involved in the chain to find out what the behaviours that they're being expected of them all are, and to see if there are any time delays there, effectively. Okay, and to find out the sum total of those time delays, and then see what the initial queuing behaviour is based on that, if you can remember, or if not, if obviously if the person at the start of the chain might just flat remember what that queue is, and be in a position to say, it might not be, yeah. Okay. Yes. Obviously, another risk with memory hunting, especially, is you might run into flooding protocols or other very disallowance techniques based on that particular. That's going to depend, but that may be something that's run into, depending obviously on a number of factors, but it's something to consider and to look out for. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll leave you to the outro. This system signing out. Hope to catch you all next week. Please do remember to like, subscribe, comment, especially if you've got any questions you want answered. Be happy to answer them either in the comments or in another video. So catch you all next week.